What if the foods that fill your pantry, the ones that are quick, cheap, and convenient, were quietly stealing your energy, clouding your mind, and shortening your life? What if the very items advertised as safe, modern, and practical were actually the source of many of the health struggles people face today? That is the hidden danger of processed foods. Nobody talks about it enough, but the impact is undeniable. Processed foods are not designed with your health in mind. They are designed for profit, engineered to sit on shelves for months, taste addictive, and keep you coming back for more. They are loaded with hidden sugars that spike your blood sugar, salts that raise your blood pressure, and industrial fats that clog your arteries and cloud your brain. Beyond the obvious, these foods contain chemical additives and preservatives that your body was never meant to process. Over time, these silent intruders inflame your system, disrupt hormones, and weaken your immune defenses. The truth is, your gut and your brain are connected. And when you fill your body with artificial ingredients, you disturb that connection. Mood swings, brain fog, anxiety, and even depression can be linked back to what you eat. Chronic inflammation fueled by processed foods doesn't just make you tired. It lays the groundwork for heart disease, diabetes, memory loss, and more. And yet, because these products are wrapped in labels like low fat, sugar free, or fortified, people trust them without question. But there is hope. The body has an incredible capacity to heal when given real food. Foods grown in the ground, foods that expire quickly because they are alive with nutrients, foods that nourish instead of destroy. Even small steps like replacing a sugary snack with a handful of nuts or swapping packaged meals for fresh vegetables and lean proteins can spark dramatic improvements in energy, focus, and longevity. The hidden dangers of processed foods are real, but so is the power of your choices. Every time you eat, you are either moving closer to health or closer to disease. Convenience might feel easier, but health is priceless. If you choose consciously, your body will respond with clarity, energy, and strength. The change starts not with fear, but with awareness. And awareness is the beginning of healing. Processed foods are engineered for taste and shelf life, not for health. And that is what makes them so dangerous. Food manufacturers design these products with one goal in mind: to sell more. They create combinations of sugar, salt, and fat that light up the brain's reward system, making them addictive and irresistible. They strip out natural nutrients to extend shelf life, then add artificial flavors, colors, and preservatives to make them look appealing. What you end up with is something that may satisfy your taste buds in the moment, but leaves your body starved of the vitamins, minerals, and fiber it truly needs. Real food spoils because it is alive with nutrients, but processed food lasts for months or even years because it has been altered to resist decay, yet in resisting decay, it no longer nourishes life. These foods are designed to be convenient, to sit in a package until you are ready to eat them. But convenience comes at a cost. Over time, a steady diet of these engineered products wears down the body, disrupts hormones, inflames tissues, and clouds the mind. They were never created for your health, only for profit, and your body pays the price. Hidden sugars, salts, and unhealthy fats drive addiction and disease because they are carefully placed in processed foods to keep you hooked. Sugar is often disguised under dozens of names: high fructose corn syrup, maltose, dextrose, and more. So you may not even realize how much you are consuming. These sugars spike blood sugar levels, leading to energy crashes, mood swings, and eventually insulin resistance that can develop into diabetes. Salt is another silent manipulator. Excess sodium is added not only for flavor, but also to preserve foods. And over time, it raises blood pressure, strains the heart, and increases the risk of stroke. Then there are the unhealthy fats, hydrogenated oils, and trans fats that extend shelf life but inflame blood vessels, clog arteries, and impair brain function. Together, these ingredients hijack your body's reward system, lighting up the brain with pleasure signals that mimic the pull of addictive drugs. You eat, you crave more, and soon it feels impossible to stop. The long-term cost is disease, obesity, heart problems, dementia, and more. These ingredients are not accidental. They are designed to trap you. Awareness is the first step to freedom, because once you see the trap, you can choose real food instead. Chemical additives and preservatives silently harm the body and brain because they are foreign substances the human system was never designed to handle. They are added to processed foods to keep them looking fresh, to enhance color, or to create flavors that imitate real ingredients. While these chemicals make products more appealing on the shelf, inside the body, they tell a different story. Preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, often found in processed meats, have been linked to increased cancer risk. Artificial colors and flavors can disrupt neurotransmitters, leading to hyperactivity, mood changes, and even learning difficulties in children. Sweeteners such as aspartame and saccharin may trick the brain and metabolism, confusing hunger signals and impairing focus. Over time, constant exposure to these additives burdens the liver and kidneys, forcing them to work harder to filter out toxins. The immune system also suffers as low-grade inflammation becomes the body's response to chemicals it cannot easily process. The brain is particularly vulnerable since many additives can cross the blood-brain barrier, influencing mood, memory, and clarity. Because their effects build slowly, most people never connect their daily food choices to their fatigue, anxiety, or poor concentration. Yet the damage accumulates, silently stealing vitality. Processed foods disrupt gut health, which weakens immunity and mood, because the gut is not just a place for digestion. It is home to trillions of microbes that directly communicate with the brain and immune system. A healthy gut microbiome thrives on fiber, antioxidants, and natural nutrients found in whole foods, but processed foods are stripped of these essentials. Instead, they are loaded with sugar, artificial additives, and unhealthy fats that feed harmful bacteria while starving the beneficial ones. Over time, this imbalance, known as dysbiosis, weakens the gut lining and allows toxins to leak into the bloodstream, triggering widespread inflammation. Since nearly 70% of the immune system is located in the gut, this disruption compromises the body's ability to defend against illness. At the same time, the gut produces neurotransmitters like serotonin and dopamine, which regulate mood and focus. When gut health declines, mood disorders such as anxiety and depression often follow, along with brain fog and fatigue. People rarely connect a processed meal to how they feel hours or days later, yet the link is powerful. Protecting gut health by avoiding processed foods and choosing whole, nutrient-rich options restores balance, strengthens immunity, and supports emotional well-being. Artificial ingredients fuel inflammation, the root of most chronic illness, because they introduce chemicals into the body that it does not recognize as natural fuel. When the immune system encounters these foreign substances, it often reacts with an inflammatory response, as though it were under attack. In small doses, inflammation is protective, but when it becomes chronic, it silently damages tissues, organs, and blood vessels. Many processed foods contain artificial sweeteners, colors, and flavor enhancers that trigger this cycle. Over time, constant low-grade inflammation contributes to conditions like heart disease, arthritis, diabetes, and even neurodegenerative diseases such as Alzheimer's. The brain is especially vulnerable as inflammation disrupts the communication between neurons, leading to memory loss, mood disorders, and reduced focus. Inflammation also weakens the body's natural repair systems, slowing healing and accelerating aging. The troubling reality is that many of these ingredients are hidden behind scientific names on labels, making it difficult for people to identify them. What feels like a convenient meal may actually be fueling a slow fire within. Choosing whole, unprocessed foods helps extinguish this fire, calming inflammation and giving the body space to heal, strengthen, and thrive over the long term. Regular consumption of processed foods damages focus, energy, and memory because these foods deprive the brain of the nutrients it needs while overwhelming it with ingredients that disrupt normal function. The brain runs on a delicate balance of glucose, oxygen, and essential fatty acids. Processed foods loaded with refined sugars cause blood sugar spikes followed by crashes that leave you feeling tired, irritable, and unable to concentrate. Artificial additives and unhealthy fats interfere with neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers responsible for clear thinking, stable mood, and memory retention. Over time, this constant disruption creates brain fog, making even simple tasks feel difficult. Energy levels also decline because processed foods lack the vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants that fuel cellular repair and protect against oxidative stress. Without these nutrients, the brain becomes more vulnerable to aging and cognitive decline. Studies have shown that diets high in processed foods are linked to poorer academic performance in children and faster memory loss in adults. The damage does not happen overnight. It builds gradually, silently dulling your sharpness and stealing your vitality. By reducing processed foods and fueling your body with whole nutrient dense options, you give your brain what it needs to stay energized, focused, and strong. Marketing often hides the dangers with labels like low fat or sugar-free, tricking people into believing they are making healthier choices when in reality, they may be doing the opposite. Food companies know that consumers are drawn to words that suggest health, so they highlight these phrases while quietly adding harmful ingredients. Low fat often means that the natural fats have been removed and replaced with sugar, refined starches, or artificial thickeners to make the food taste good again. Sugar-free can mean the product is filled with artificial sweeteners that confuse the body, disrupt gut health, and sometimes increase cravings for even more sugar. Even natural or fortified can be misleading since many of these foods are still heavily processed and are stripped of real nutrients before synthetic ones are added back. These labels create a false sense of security, leading people to eat more of a product they believe is safe. Over time, this trust results in hidden damage to metabolism, energy, and long-term health. Does not come from a clever label. It comes from real whole foods that don't need flashy packaging. The best label is the one you can recognize food in its natural, unaltered state. Replacing even a portion of processed foods with whole foods creates healing because the body responds quickly to real nourishment. Every time you choose fruits, vegetables, whole grains, lean proteins, or healthy fats over packaged and refined options, you supply your body with living nutrients it can actually use. Whole foods are packed with fiber, antioxidants, vitamins, and minerals that repair tissues, support detoxification, and fuel energy at the cellular level. Even small changes like swapping sugary cereal for oats, soda for water, or chips for nuts can lower inflammation, stabilize blood sugar, and strengthen immunity. The body is designed to heal, but it cannot do so when constantly burdened with artificial additives and chemical preservatives. When given real food, the digestive system works more efficiently, the gut microbiome begins to balance, and the brain receives the fuel it needs for focus and clarity. Over time, these shifts add up to stronger immunity, more energy, improved mood, and protection against chronic disease. You do not need to be perfect or eliminate every processed item overnight. Healing begins with consistent, better choices. Even replacing part of your diet with whole, natural foods is enough to awaken the body's natural power to restore itself. Lasting vitality comes not from convenience, but from conscious choices, because true health cannot be packaged in quick fixes or instant meals. Convenience foods promise to save time, yet they often steal energy, clarity, and long term wellness. They fill the body with hidden sugars, artificial additives, and unhealthy fats that may satisfy hunger in the moment but drain vitality over time. In contrast, conscious choices require intention. Choosing to prepare real food, prioritizing sleep, staying active, and managing stress. These decisions may take effort, but they create a foundation of strength that no shortcut can replace. Vitality is built through small daily acts of awareness, noticing what you put into your body, listening to how it responds, and aligning habits with long-term goals rather than short-term ease. The difference between convenience and consciousness is the difference between survival and thriving. Convenience often numbs, while conscious living energizes. Lasting energy, clear focus, and resilience are rewards for those who choose intentionally. Every meal, every routine, every thought is an opportunity to invest in your future. Vitality is not an accident. It is the natural result of deliberate choices that honor your body and mind day after day.